What's up, guys? This is Dude Man with a Beard, and today we're back in Valheim. And I'm going to show you how to prepare for the first boss. The first thing you're going to want to do is look around for stone. And you can find them just laying around on the ground, like I said last time. If you press tab, go to your basic crafting table and look for hammer. You can see here you need 3 wood and 2 stone. And the other thing you're going to want is an axe. So for that you need 5 wood, 4 stone. So in total you need 6 stone and 8 wood. And one simple way to get wood in the beginning is to punch these young trees. Like so. And I know, we're beating up, killing old or young trees, but wow. Straight up hit him once and then another time and he died. Amazing. Alright, so now that you got your stone and wood, you can make a hammer and a stone axe. Next thing you want to do is make a club, which is very helpful in the beginning. If you want to go to a different weapon class, you can do that. Or if you want to use your stone axe as a weapon as well, you can do that as well. You can also find these branches laying on the ground. It's not as common as these other little trees, but you don't have to break it. You can just pick it up, just like stone. And you also want to be on the lookout for dandelion. They'll be necessary for crafting food items. And also you want to be on the lookout for raspberries, and they look like this. And those will help you have stamina and health. So if I eat this, see my health go up, and it's gonna regenerate a little bit over time. And then the bird will help you out. Raven, whatever you want to call it. It's basically your tutorial bird. It'll help you with tips and tricks and helpful knowledge. And the other thing you want to look out for is blueberries, but those are found in the Black Forest, and right now you're not prepared for that. You'll most likely die because there's gray dwarves and trolls, and those are huge. And you'd want a good armor set and good piercing weapon damage, such as a spear or a bow with arrows. So now that you've got your stone axe and your hammer, next thing you want to do is go over to your crafting station or your workbench, and you'll look and see that you have a whole bunch of other stuff you can make. Flint axe, of course, requires flint and wood. You can make a hoe, flint knife, wood shield, and a wood tower shield. The wood shield is the only one that you can parry with, but the tower shield gives you more block power, but you can't parry. So I always go with the wood shield. And the things you're going to want to make right now is crude bow and your arrows. But you can't do that right now because you don't have leather scraps. And how do you get leather scraps? Well, you go and beat up some boar. So we're gonna do that right now. So here you can see we found some boar. And they're very aggressive. Well, they're not aggressive, they're just frightened. As you can see, it says it's frightened. And they'll make their pass for an attack and then they'll run away. So you can keep that in mind so you don't kill yourself with just the boar. You can also bring your torch out and they'll run away. Same with the graylings. And you see I got from the boar is 1 leather scrap. So you're gonna have to go and find, I think, 7 more. Takes 8. But yeah, you can find boar out in this open plains area. And if you find mushrooms, those are also very helpful. 1 to just eat straight up, and also for cooking. You can make lots of very tasty things with the mushrooms, combined with raspberries, blueberries, all the like. Alright. And once you've got your leather scraps, then you can go ahead and break down some more trees if you don't already have enough wood. I think you'll need 8 as well. When you're cutting down trees, you want to make sure that you're out of the way because they'll do damage. They hurt. Just like real life. Alright, now that you're back at your base with some wood, leather scraps, and most likely raw meat, go ahead and cook your raw meat on the cooking stations. And let those cook, and then you can make yourself a bow. Sorry, I required 10 wood, not 8. And make yourself some wood arrows. Once you hear that simmering, that means that food is done. Now you got yourself some raw meat, or not raw meat, cooked meat. You can go ahead and put it up here in your hotbar, or you can just leave it in your inventory so you can right click it to eat it. But for me, I like to put it in my hotbar so I can quickly eat it when I need to. You can see here that raspberries give you 10 health, 20 stamina for 600 seconds, and 1 health tick per second. Where the cooked meat gives you 40 health, 30 stamina, and 1200 seconds at 2 health points a tick or per second. So eat those 2, then you got a total of 50 health added. So you should be at 75, and that is very helpful for when you're dealing with creatures out in the wilderness, out in the Black Forest, or your first boss, Eikthyr. So the raspberries will last you basically 10 minutes, and cooked meat will last you 20 minutes. So, got a long time before you need to eat. Another thing. And then the last thing you need is mushrooms. Mushrooms will give you an additional 15 health, 20 stamina, and last you another, well, not another, but last you 10 minutes as well. At 1 HP tick per second. Alright. So now that you got your bow and your arrows, now you can go hunt some deer. See one way over there already, which is great. Otherwise they take sometimes a long time to find. So When you're hunting deer, you want to crouch with whatever button you have crouch assigned to. For me, it's control, left control. And when you're aiming your bow, you want to aim higher in the beginning, because in the beginning, your bow isn't that powerful, so it's going to have a larger arc. You're going to want to aim pretty high. And see there, I aimed pretty much at its health bar, and I hit it just barely at the right height. There we go. So from deer, you'll get deer hide and a lot more raw meat than what you would get from a boar. I think it's 2 instead of 1. And one nice thing about this game is that your food never expires. So you can just have a stockpile of food, and you'll never have to worry about your food becoming spoiled where you can't eat it. And that's always nice. So the next thing you're going to want to look for is flint and wood for your chopping block. And that'll upgrade your workbench to where you can make armor, such as leather armor. And then when you're looking for flint, you just gotta look for water, and along the shoreline, you'll be able to find flint. And the quantity varies. You can find 3 in one spot or 1 in one spot, but you're gonna need a total of 10, I think. And here you'll find neck, and they're useful for neck meat. And neck meat gives you a lot more stamina and a lot more health than raw meat. And there are certain stats in the game that will either benefit you or harm you. Well, not harm you, but limit you to what you're able to do. So you can look at your stats by looking in here, or you can look at your active effects. So your rested bonus is when you're by a fire with a bed at a basic level, and gives you health regen 50% and stamina regen 100%. So you always want to have a rested bonus. Make sure that when you're getting low on your time for your rested bonus, you go back and rest up. And then when you're wet, you lose 25% health regen, and you lose 15% stamina regen. But when you're wet, you're resistant versus fire, but they're also weak against frost and weak against lightning, which makes sense. So keep in mind, you can actually use wet to your advantage if you want. If you ever have opponents that deal fire damage to you, but overall, you don't really want to be wet. And when you're wet, you can go by a fire and you can see my wet bonus, not bonus, my wet effect is going down tremendously fast. And see, I'm already dry. After having 2 minutes of wet, going down to 0 in probably 10-15 seconds. Versus 2 minutes, which is great. So now that you got your flint, and you're going to want to gather some wood. And then you can go into your hammer, choose the chopping block, and for me, I like to place it on either side of my workbench. And now, as you can see, we can make leather tunic, leather pants, and leather helmet. And of course, that's all gonna take more deer hide. So in total, you're gonna need 18 deer hide to be able to make a full set of leather armor, which is necessary for the first boss. Get your bow ready and go hunt some deer. If you see tall pine trees, or in this game they're called fir trees, you might want to stay away from those right off the bat until you get better armor, which you're about to do, and better weapons, because the enemies out there are not friendly. And when you're sneaking, you're not moving, your stamina bar can regenerate. And when you're moving, it treats it as if you're running when you're in sneak. So keep that in mind. Otherwise you'll stand up and you'll be noticed by the deer. You'll typically find deer hanging out in the outskirts, the outer edge of the woods. Sometimes you can find them out in the open, but not likely. When you're up on the hill, you can aim lower, because you'll have more range in your arc. So yeah, I'm aiming a little lower here. And I was pretty much right at the same level as the deer. Plus I'm a little closer too, but still. And if you find deer with a star, which they most likely will have antlers as well, they'll give you a higher chance of a trophy, and they'll give you more meat and more hide as well. Because that deer is a good deer. When you're aiming uphill, you're going to need to aim a lot higher. Or you can reposition yourself so that you're not down or going uphill. You can go downhill or at least level with the deer. But be careful. Make sure you're not running out of stamina. Otherwise you'll stand up and spook the deer. And everything you do, you gain a little bit of skill improvement in whatever thing you're doing. Alright, when you get back to your house, you can go ahead and cook up your meat. And go over to your workbench, and you'll be able to see that now that you got 18 leather, make leather tunic, leather pants, and leather helmet. When you're cooking your food, you want to make sure you're not distracted, otherwise for maybe 10-15 seconds longer after they're done, they'll turn into coal. You won't have any food anymore, because you don't need coal right now. Alright, so if you look at the stats for your armor, you'll see that it gives you 2 armor each. So it gives you 6 armor total, as you can see right here. You'll be able to take less damage from enemies. Then the next step for your workbench is a tanning rack. And if you look down bottom of the screen, you can see that it takes 10 wood, 15 flint, 20 leather scraps, and 5 hide. So you're gonna need to go out and beat up some more boar and kill some more deer. Alright, once you've gotten your leather scraps, deer hide, and flint and wood, you can go ahead and put that next to your workbench, or put your tanning rack next to your workbench. And now you have a workbench level 3. And with a workbench level 3, it's necessary for upgrading your stuff. And when you get bone from ruins, then you can make a cape. So what you also want to make now is a wood shield, which takes 4 resin and 4 scraps and 10 wood. And you can see here that some things require bone fragments to upgrade. And you can get those later once you beat the first boss and you need to venture into the Black Forest. And you'll find bone fragments in the ruins. And you'll find skeletons there, and they're weak against blunt, which is what the club has for damage stats. So you want to use a club instead of your axe. But right now we are set to defeat the first boss. And you'll need deer trophies from your 1 to 2 star deer. And then you'll need to head over to the Eikthyr boss sacrificial area. And in the beginning of the game, when you spawn at the sacrificial stones, you'll get to see this stone rune thing here. And you can click E to register location, and it'll spawn on a random place on the map. And once you do that, then you can go over to that spot and summon Eikthyr. So once you get to Eikthyr's summoning location, you'll be greeted with Hugin the bird, and he'll tell you about it. Then you're going to want to place your deer trophies on your hotbar, and then press the number on the hotbar that your deer trophies are on. And you'll need 2 of them. And now, the battle has begun. So he's going to have a couple different attacks. He's going to have a area of effect lightning attack. And he'll also have a directional lightning attack. But the weapon you're going to want, and you can see there is his area of effect attack. But the weapon you're going to want is a bow. And the bow and arrow will do a lot of damage. And especially if you had flint arrows, they'll do even more damage. And you can see now I have armor and I'm taking very little damage. If I had no armor, I'd be already down to 1/4 health. Just from 1 or 2 hits. You can also choose to attack them with your axe or your club if you so choose. But it's not going to do nearly as much damage as the bow. You can see here I'm not dodging a lot of stuff, but I'm taking the damage and It's not really doing a whole lot of damage because you are prepared. And of course, you want to make sure you eat your food. And the funny thing is you hunt deer to sacrifice to him, and then he is a giant deer with lightning powers. Pretty funny. And once you beat him, you'll poof, and then you'll get the Eikthyr trophy and hard antlers. And with the antlers, you'll be able to make a pickaxe. And before you summon your boss, you're gonna want to make sure you eat your food, so you have all the health you need, and then you can summon them. And you can summon this boss and any other boss as many times as you like. And once you beat the first boss, then you go back over to the sacrificial stones. Alright, once you made it to the sacrificial stones, then you find the one for Eikthyr, and you put your trophy on the hook. And this will grant you a Forsaken power. So this one in particular gives you stamina regen, or not stamina regen, stamina usage minus 60% and stamina run usage minus 60%. So this one will basically help you during a fight and allow you to run for a lot longer and jump without running out of stamina as fast. And that is very useful when you're trying to travel. So if you hit F and you need to run really far distance, this will help. As you can see, now I'm barely using any stamina when I'm running. And then when I stop, I'll regenerate my stamina, and then it'll be a lot faster than what it is when I'm running, when it goes down. And it lasts 5 minutes, and your cooldown is 20 minutes. And so basically you only need to wait 15 minutes for it to come back. And when you get back, you can see now when you go to your workbench, you can make an antler pickaxe. And I would suggest making 2 of them. So that you can swap them out when they break. So you don't have to keep going back all the time. You can go ahead and make all 3 if you want. Because the hard antler is only good for the pickaxe, and that's it. Alright. In the next video, I'll show you how to find copper and find tin, and what to do with those. But until next time, but that is things for another day. Alright. Well, hope you liked this video, hope you learned a lot. Hope I could help you out a little bit. And smash subscribe, hit that like button and leave a comment. If you have any suggestions, I'd like to hear them. Have a good one and continue on being a Viking. See ya.